company settings is where you would go and configure most of coreSTORE. So there are really two places where you get to set up different configuration options, and formally the company settings was referred to as store config. So you may still see some help articles that say store config. We'll go through and update those, but we've moved it under company and you'll see settings. And this is the settings menu. There are quite a few options, and today's video we're just going to talk about the screen itself rather than going through all the different options. But on the left side you'll see the general category of the setting. So we've got everything from application settings and API settings. It's all alphabetized. Company information, that's a good one to start with. You can upload your logo and put in your website and your company name. And there's a couple of really convenient functions in this settings. So one of the things I can do is, for example, if I'm searching for taxes, because one of the first steps you want to do is set up your sales tax, you can actually just type in taxes and you'll see that it narrows it down, and we've got a whole topic about taxes. I can always clear this and we'll go back to showing everything. I can also jump to different categories. This is a little redundant because now I can see almost everything and it's pretty easy to get around, but we still decided to leave this jump option. And whenever you make a change, don't forget, you just want to hit the save button. So if I want to automatically focus my cursor so that every time I scan an item, it goes right back and stays in the item field, I can just check that box, hit save, and it saves my settings. Now these settings are affecting the entire coreSTORE. And what I mean by that is if you have multiple locations set up, when you change a setting, it's changed for the entire coreSTORE. So the second place where you can actually look at settings is really under your company locations, because we do have some settings that are specific for the actual location. If you have multiple stores, or if you have one store and you wanted to separate your store versus your warehouse, you can do that. And to get to the location settings, you really go under company, which right under settings, you have locations. And again, I've got several locations here, but if I go to edit my Dallas location, I've got all of my settings here. Now, there's different things like the return policy and which employees have access to this location. Quite a few. Now, under merchant processing is really where we need to rename this tab. So if anyone has any good ideas, because it's much more than merchant processing. Obviously, I'm going to specify my merchant processing information as far as my credit cards and terminals, and these red dots show me if a terminal is active or not active. But in general, this is where I have register specific settings, and we keep expanding how many different settings are specific to the register. So at the highest level, you've got your company settings. This screen that we've been on is mostly location based, and then we actually can configure certain things by register. So I've got all of my settings here for each register. I have quite a few registers here. This is one of my test sites. And in location settings is where I can also configure all of the different integrations for our system. We integrate into various different applications. You've got if you are a firearms reseller, you've got your bound book information. You wouldn't see that unless you are a firearms reseller. There's both a bound book section in the locations, and there's also one in the company settings. So it's good to review both. Again, if you've got one location, you just have to make sure you go into, even if you don't have multiple locations, you want to make sure you specify your agency, local agency name, and all of the information there. And of course, we've got some website options and a new option for taxes and fees, which we'll do a separate video on. So again, the two places, especially if you're new to coreSTORE, you do want to go into your general settings. And I know there's a lot here, and we're going to try to figure out a way to highlight the most important ones, but you definitely want to at least peruse through. And most of it is self-explanatory, but we do have knowledge-based articles on a lot of these settings. And then, of course, you also want to visit your locations and set up your store specific information, whether it be the address. Even if you only have one location, you want to make sure you visit that and check out all of the settings there. Excellent. Thank you for watching this video, and we look forward to providing you with additional videos.